Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the Bowl TV studios for the U.S. Open. Practice day is officially underway at the National Bowling Stadium. My name is Aaron Smith with USBC Communications and Bowl TV, and similar to what we did at the USBC Masters, we are going to go ahead and take a firsthand look at the practice session going on. Last night, we solidified the 108-player field with a pre-tournament qualifier led by Tim Foy Jr. We'll talk a little bit about that. But now our competitors are getting their first look at one of the four patterns that will be out throughout the course of the tournament. So for qualifying day one, which starts tomorrow, live on Bowl TV, they're seeing that pattern right now. A little bit later today, pattern number 2 for day 2 will come out, pattern 3 for day 3, and then pattern 4 for the Cashers round, day 4, and then match play, and then the stepladder finals, which will be on FS1 at 2 p.m. Eastern next Sunday, April 11th, will be out. So they'll get the opportunity to see all four patterns in play for one of the toughest tests in bowling, the U.S. Open. So before we get out to the lanes, let's say hello to all of the folks watching on Bowl TV, the Sport of Bowling USBC Facebook page, and on YouTube as well on Bowl TV. So thank you for joining us here. We'll talk a little bit about some cool things for everybody as well throughout the week, but let's start it up with Matt Cannizzaro joining us as well. So there he is, folks. Matt Cannizzaro. This week's been pretty crazy already. Thomas Larson, we have a Masters champion, took care of business. The U.S. Open coming up, though. Obviously, a lot of storylines, a lot of prestige, a lot of history. Jason Belmonte, the defending champion, that win last year in Lincoln, Nebraska, Sun Valley Lanes, gave him the Super Slam. Can he become the first to do it twice? Only one other person has ever done it ever outside of Belmo, Mike Albee. So he's just trying to get two in a row here, make quick work of it, and take home another title, another major. That'd be his 14th.
Well, Belmo definitely motivated. There's been a lot of talk about him this season and where he is progress-wise, and I haven't seen him too much on TV without a microphone. So I know, of course, very motivated coming all this way. Would love to get that Super Slam twice, as you mentioned, would be the first person to do that. That's pretty neat to think about, and the fact that it would be his 14th major. Wow. But we'll see. There's 107 other people that have something to say about that, and we'll talk about who some of those folks are as practice day unfolds. So looking forward to that. We'll talk about, of course, the PTQ, how all these folks got here, and how to shift gears now from the Masters to the U.S. Open during Masters Week for golf, where we're all giving out green jackets. Confusing, but that's what we're here for. Looking forward to it.
All right, let's bring in Jason Thomas as well, and then we will reveal the pattern, which is available on bowl.com/US Open. So JT joining from the NBS. How is it going, Mr. Thomas?
It's going. These guys are ready. I mean, I talked to Chris Vi just now, and he said he was pretty happy with his performance at the Masters. We talked a little bit about what it's going to take to, get him over the hump and get that first win. He said, I'm making it all the time, but now I got to win. I got to take the next step. And so we just talked about what a process that is. And, he's feeling pretty good going into the U.S. Open. We did get a question in the chat already this morning about Sterner's hand. They showed a photo of it on the show yesterday, and it was pretty bad. And I was actually over there setting up a camera this morning, and some of the players were asking him about it, and he said, "It's not good. I'm going to try to grind my way through it, but this is the biggest grind of an event that you could possibly have. 56 games, and to go in with an injury like that, that's going to be a tough road for him. But he's a tough guy. We'll see, if he can kind of limit maybe the practice a little bit today, get the hand better, and see if he can be a factor this week."
All right, 90-minute practice session underway 4 times. So, yeah, I can imagine for Jason maybe just some initial recon and then rest that thumb up. But let's take a look at the pattern we're going to be using for day number 1. There it is, folks, 36 feet in length. So we're starting with a shorty, 36 feet, 26.44 mils. I see Kegel Ice up there. And we'll scroll down a little bit to take a look at the graph.
Well, now we think that's the short one. What kind of chicks might they have for us?
That's a fair point. Knowing Nick, Yeah, good old 29-footer in there or something like that. He wouldn't surprise me if he would go crazy like that. But symmetric pattern. It's got a pretty interesting shape right there, kind of an hourglass look to it. 1.67 to 1, so certainly tough. So look at the oil pattern. Guys, any initial impressions from that without seeing too many balls go down the lane so far?
It's that's certainly tricky. This pattern, if you're just looking at the shape of it, it probably gives you a couple of options. You can kind of jam it up. You see where that dark blue area is on the pattern, where the dark blue and the light blue change direction. About I can't really see the tick marks, but it looks like between 10 and 15 feet.
Mm-hmm.
If you can keep the angle straight along that edge, if you're a lefty or righty starting off the day, that looks like it'll play. But then once you get later in the block, or even from the start, if you try to go left to right, you see that little bit of extra volume, a little bit closer to the end of the pattern, which will push the ball further right, which will make it awfully difficult. So my advice would be to try to stay as far right as possible, stay up the lane, along right around 5, and then see how they break down. But jumping too far left too early on this pattern, I think, is going to be disaster if you're a righty.
Well, we're going to take a right look here at some righties and some lefties. How about this pairing? Spencer Robarge, Francois Lavoie, Chris Vi, and Garrett Andrus. Going to be, where are they at? 41 and 42 right now, taking a look at their first opportunity here. There's A.J. Johnson as well. So we got everybody. It's a party. So we'll go full screen here as we take a look at a little bowling from these guys. A.J. giving out hugs. Had a nice tournament appearance himself. And folks, throughout the course of the day, we'll talk to players, we'll talk to ball reps, and get some initial impressions of each of the oil patterns during this 90-minute block. Depending on how many folks are on the lanes, we may our time may vary. We'll be flexible though as we work our way around the house. If you're watching on BowlTV.com and you have already subscribed, you can watch all of our practice pairs that we have available, 8 different channels. But right now, if you want to watch the podcast itself from practice session, you can do so for free. We'll have this channel available with a login only on BowlTV.com. But folks, this is a great time to tell you, if you do not have a subscription to Bowl TV and you want to watch the U.S. Open throughout the course of the week, we have come out, we announced it yesterday, a brand new promo that will go until Saturday night. This week only, you can pick up an annual recurring subscription for $49.95 plus transaction fees. Usually costs $79.95. So an opportunity to save, and get a year's worth of Bowl TV at an amazing price. You get the U.S. Open, and it's going to follow. It's just going to be week after week after that. We got the ITC sectional qualifiers coming up the weekend after that. The PWBA Tour starts up again. We're going to have the ITC, the ISC coming up early May, Queens middle of May. We get into June. There's the Super Senior Classic and Senior Masters. And while all this is going on, PWBA is still going on. 17 events remain this season. Into July, we have Junior Gold Championships. Just a couple of weeks of fun right there. Of course, later in the season, the brand new Bowlers Journal Team Championship Series available as well. And, buying an annual subscription in April will get you all the way to the Team USA trials and back into all the events in 2022. So depending on the schedule, maybe the Masters again, maybe the U.S. Open. Who knows? But it's going to be a great time, a great opportunity. That annual subscription unlocks the entire website for you. So not only the live events, but you get to see the archived coverage from all these great tournaments. You get to see the backstage channel, the lab, the vault, just all this great content available. If you're a bowling fan and you have not subscribed to Bowl TV just yet, this is the time to do so. This is your week. This is your time to shine, folks. Be like Spencer Robarge. Shine out there. Get yourself a Bowl TV subscription. And of course, along with the live coverage on bowltv.com, that is the only place where you can win our giveaways at. So for the folks watching on Facebook and YouTube, during this practice session, we will be giving away an Amazon TV Fire Stick. So if you want the opportunity to win that, you have to head over to Bowl TV. We're hanging out right there. Just we're doing the thing. We got it up on a few different platforms, but on bowltv.com, we'll be giving one of those away before we wrap up this practice session. And once again, today for this specific day of practice sessions, we will be giving these away throughout the day. And you only need a login. It takes about 2 minutes to set up a login. You need an email address. That's about it. Your name, email, set it up. You're good to go. And you can check out a look from Bowl TV and win. Matt Cannizzaro, we have a limited field here at the U.S. Open. That's why we had the PTQ last night, 43 players completing the field. Tell the folks at home a little bit about how the rest of the field, the players who had already earned spots, tell us a little bit about how that actually, it looks like we're going to have a ball rep come on first. So, Matt, I'm sorry to set you up like that and then disappoint you. But we're going to bring in Nathan Bohr, though. So let's say hello to Nathan. Nathan,
hey, guys. Aaron, it's so good to see you and hear your voice this morning. I mean, Matt, you too, but I talked to you the other day.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, Nathan. Some initial impressions on this 36-foot condition for day number one. What are folks seeing out there? What's kind of the buzz at the stadium?
Well, they're hard. This isn't going to be a 220, 230 average pattern. Somebody's going to get lined up over 8 games, about 200 over or so, but not very many people. No, I mean, this tournament always brings with it a bunch of challenges. This practice session is one of the challenges. I'm actually bowling this week. I'm not bowling right now. I didn't feel that it would benefit me too much to be practicing right now and kind of deal with the extraneous stuff for 6 hours today. So Maria and I are just going to take it easy for a little while, watch a little bit, go get some breakfast, and come back at noon and see if we want to practice in. But yeah, like I said, this tournament always comes with its own challenges. You're not going to get any practice. So what I was able to use, and a lot of people were able to use last week at the Masters, was that you got to set up 2 pairs rather than just one. So if you bowled a bad first couple of games, it was kind of your fault. This week it's different. You've got 1 ball, 2 balls on your starting pair, and then that's it. And then you go to that second pair, and there hasn't been a single ball thrown on it, and that's tough. So yeah, that's going to drive the scores down a little bit. The fact that there's only going to be at most 4 games on any pair is going to drive the scores down a little bit. So yeah, bring your spare ball.
Nathan, you mentioned the Masters as well, and both you and Maria advancing to match play. Just talk about how you're feeling after all those games, and obviously that had to be as much as it was a physical test, a mental test as well, going through all those games and that demanding pattern, and just fighting through all that. So, just how you guys feeling, both physically and mentally, heading into this event?
Sure. I would have loved an extra day. Woke up this morning not really wanting to be here, wanting to do the deal, like I said. So I'm gonna take it. I've never won a tournament on practice day, so I'm gonna rely on my memories from this last week, the good memories, the way I like to see the ball go through the pins, the way I like to see it go off my hand and go from there. So yeah, mentally tired. Maria is fried. She had a rough day yesterday in the PTQ that she definitely needed another day. So like I said, we're just going to kind of take it. We're going to take it easy today. My plan, I think, was to be back and bowl the fourth practice session because there'll be fewer people here also. Be able to get a little bit better, a little bit more one-on-one time with you in the lanes. And we'll go from there.
All right, Nathan. I think we'll let you get back to it. Matt, did you have anything before we let Nathan
hit me,
Matt?
Hit me, Matt. I feel like I'm Debbie Downer this morning. I'm sorry.
No, I was just
here for a
curious.
while.
Obviously, your job most of the time, some of the time, is to watch ball reaction and watch other folks throw equipment and kind of get an idea of what to do at that point.
Sure.
By not practicing and not getting a feel for this pattern, what are you able to do from behind the lanes by watching, by seeing folks you're more familiar with who might throw the ball like you, or you might be able to get a read from, where it's almost as beneficial, if not more, than actually being out there and going through it?
Sure. Well, there's no substitute for being on the lanes. And you can watch as many people as you want that throw it similar to you, but honestly, until you get out there, you don't really have the feel. And so I'm fully aware of that with my decision not to bowl this morning. But I'm also fully aware that our roommate yesterday, Danielle, said it best. She said the most important part of this tournament is how you feel mentally and emotionally, not physically. So if I'm not feeling it today, if Maria's not feeling it today, we have no problem resting mentally so that we can be prepared for the rest of the week.
All right. And now, and just looking at the pattern and looking at some other folks attacking initially, what are the thoughts? If it's game time, based on what you've seen so far and what you see on paper, what's the plan of attack? And how much might that change with even just those two practice shots tomorrow?
Yeah, sure. Matt, you're doing a heck of a job trying to get me to answer the question you want me to answer. I appreciate your hard work. So what I'm seeing is the ball can't be going sideways off the end of the pattern. Can't be going sideways through the front of the pattern. There's enough oil in the wrong spots to make it so that an errant shot one way or the other, if you got too much angle, can result in 6 or 7. And not fun ones. So looks like the best look from guys have been like between 5 and 10, something smooth. Urethane is definitely in play with these guys. And then just something that rolls forward off of it so that you can control front to back better.
You've seen enough Nick Hoagland patterns over the years as a bowler and as a ball rep. Of course, for those of us who are not the top tier, you go out, you look at
come on, Matt, you're right near the top.
You tell him, Nathan. You tell him.
You look at a pattern length, then obviously you have a general idea of what you're supposed to do and where you're supposed to be. And so for the novice going out there, normally that might help the situation. But again, when Nick's involved and things look like the way they do on a graph, how do you attack it? Just how do you go out there? Just if you're not you guys, right? How does a normal guy go out and attack a 36-foot U.S. Open pattern?
Make sure you can hit what you're looking at, first ball and second ball, first of all. You can get some general rules as far as where to play on the lane, where your break point should be. But find a place. So the whole point of the U.S. Open, and it's been this way since since before I started bowling. The whole point of the U.S. Open is to make you uncomfortable. And so the more comfortable you can get with playing angles you like, or using balls that you like, or hand positions that you like, that you can repeat and match up to the pattern is the best way to go. So whether that's 3-3, whether that's 10-5, whether that's 15-7, whatever, as long as you can repeat that shot and you've got a decent roll to the pocket, that's going to be the most important part. Every once in a while, there's a defined place to play, but like I said, the U.S. Open is all about making you uncomfortable, and so the more you can do to be comfortable, the better you'll feel, because the lane's definitely not going to do it.
Well, I hope we get to see you and Maria get comfortable this week. Throw some strikes. Before you go,
That was good.
we have another member of the team hiding, lurking in the shadows, ready to jump in and ask you a few questions as well. So let's just bring him in. Aaron Smith, it's Mike Flanagan. Come on in.
Flanagan.
There he is.
No offense, Mike. I was hoping it was Tony Franklin.
Hey, that's okay, man. No problem at all. No problem at all. Nathan, I'm looking at the graph right now on my phone.
Yeah.
And it, we did talk about, that it's 36 feet in length, and there's this thing out here called the rule of 31.
Yeah, throw it away.
You completely throw that rule of 31 where you subtract 36 feet from 31, and the exit of the pattern should be the fifth board. You say on this pattern that's not a way to attack it.
No, I mean it can be, sure, but it can also be 10. It can also be 3. It basically, the rule of 31 tells you on a 36 pattern, don't try and get the ball to 20 down lane, right? Or 15. I guess sometimes you could even get it to 15, but rule of 31 basically is a guide and nothing else. And it's up to us as bowlers to figure out what the best way to attack it is, because that's going to change throughout the entire block.
From a learning perspective as well, I'm sure there's a lot of folks that are watching free preview here that maybe bowl league or whatever. When you see a pattern that's 36 feet in length, do you use a shiny symmetrical ball that goes sideways off the end of it? Or are you looking for a surface ball that just rolls off of it? Do you want control down lane? What type of layouts? All the bowling ball geek stuff on a 36-foot pattern. What's going to work best, and what are we going to see a majority of the players using?
We're going to see a majority of the players using urethane, because it's easier to use a urethane ball than to try and fix your hand in a tournament like this. So that's what I said about being comfortable. If you're not comfortable rolling the ball, getting it going forward off your hand, then use a ball that does it for you. And that's what a bunch of these guys are going to do. So that presents another group of challenges for everybody else following. But we're not trying to hook the lane. Like I said, we're trying to get something to roll off the end of the pattern, go forward, and control the pocket. Sometimes even just control the head pin. But 3-6 is an easy spare.
And the last question I have for you in regards to this lane pattern is, I notice on more difficult, demanding conditions, sometimes when they're shaped to the pattern that allows it to look like a house shot on the way down, suddenly it starts to get wider further down the pattern, and sometimes they put a 2-2 stripe at the towards the end of the pattern, and this pattern has that 2-2 stripe down lane. What does that do to the oil pattern in general?
Just means you can't be sideways. It means you got to be forward. Same idea. Got to be able to control the pocket. If you go sideways and you hit that spot the wrong way, your ball can go both directions. So yeah, just trying to get it to read before then. That's where the urethane comes into play as well.
Thanks for breaking that down. It's interesting that this week when I've looked at the patterns thus far, it's so funny to see that they're all like under 2-1.
Oh yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah. And this place in general, you can have some high scores here, but going pair to pair keeps the scores down, and then you get the pattern less than 2-1, keeping the scores down. So it's a recipe for success if your spare ball is working.
All right, Nathan, we'll let you get back to viewing, but thank you as always for joining us. We look forward to watching you compete throughout the week, and best of luck the rest of the way out.
Got it. Thanks, Aaron, Matt, Mike. Thanks, guys.
Sure.
Hi, Tony Franklin.
All right, we are up for the next, what are these, 20 minutes apiece? 30 minutes apiece?
20 minutes apiece. There's a clock up on the thing out here for us, so that's the only reason why I know the answer to that.
Excellent. Well, as we, once again, big thanks to Nathan Bohr for coming in and joining us. Matt, I was prompting you for a question. I think this pair illustrates a little bit of everything as far as how players earn spots into the field at the U.S. Open. And we have some junior Team USA members here. We have Team USA members. We have top performers on the PBA Tour. And we have folks who have qualified through the PTQ, all grouped right together here. So, Matt, can you kind of run down how this field came together and we got to that 108 number?
Sure. I think the first thing, the misconception that we need to clarify, of course, is that it's not an invitation-only super elite event like some folks believe out there in the world. It's yes, you qualify for this tournament. It's going to be the best in the world over the last year or two. It's based on performance to a point. And you hit on some of those past U.S. Open winners, recent Masters winners, PBA World Championships. So you're definitely looking at the elite bowlers, the PBA Tour bowlers. It comes from the points list as well, and their major events, but also spots for success at other USBC events, Open Championships, all events winner, Senior Masters winner, Senior U.S. Open, Junior Gold, Boys Champion, top 5 finishers at the U.S. Open, Intercollegiate Singles Championship. So a great variety, kind of encompassing all of the USBC events. A majority of the folks do come from the PBA points list. Then there's also regional qualifiers around the country. So you can go and bowl in one of these qualifiers and win a spot in this direct field at the U.S. Open. And then anybody who receives an invite based on those performances has the opportunity to accept or decline. And in this particular year, the PTQ also awards a minimum of 10 spots each year. So any USBC member can come and bowl the PTQ, meeting the average requirements. And last night, there was 53 entries. 43 spots were up for grabs in the U.S. Open. So plenty of opportunities to qualify for this event, to be among the 108 bowlers bowling for that $30,000 prize and the coveted green jacket. So again, check bowl.com for all the details. Look for those regional qualifiers or come out and get it. Ryan Mao, for example, all events champion at the USBC Open Championships, received an invite based on that performance. A lot of ways to get in. Just come out and chase it. It's certainly a challenge. Jason Thomas talked about it quite a bit last night about his experience at the U.S. Open and just what a great, memorable time it was. And a mental challenge, as Nathan described, but certainly something that if you have the ability to do it, to try it, come out and try 3 different patterns over 3 days, and then 25% of the field will advance to a 4th pattern. 56 games will be bowled before we know our step ladder for Sunday's TV show. And at that point, absolutely the best of the best, mentally, physically, and versatility-wise. So looking forward to it, and we're already getting ready. So to set up for next year's U.S. Open. So get out there, bowl those events, and be part of it.
Folks, we're about at the 30-minute mark. So once again, if you're already on bowltv.com, we appreciate it. For those of you who haven't picked up a subscription yet, we have an unbelievable deal available for the rest of the week until Saturday night $49.95 for an annual subscription. Usually costs $79.95, which will get you the U.S. Open, all the qualifying, all the match play, 8 channels, including our commentary channel, Making 9. It unlocks the entire website, archived events, the lab, the vault, the backstage channel. Gives you access to the PWBA Tour. The top athletes on tour have 17 events left to go this season, 3 already in the books. USBC short duration events like the Senior Masters, Super Senior Classic, Junior Gold Championships, ITC, ISC, and much more.
Yeah, I would jump on that as soon as possible. Everybody that's watching, just go ahead and pay the $49.95 and get it out of the way and be able to watch bowling and just not have to worry about it at all. But, you know, I started thinking about this, actually, the value of it, right? What if it was, what if Bowl TV was a nickel a game?
A nickel a game.
Yep, nickel a game for every game covered. So, how many games of qualifying were bowled at the Masters? 15 times 200 and what's that number?
16.
So I got my calculator out. 216 times 15. 3,240 times 0.05. That's $162.
We're a better deal than lineage. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, well, lineage is like $2.50 to $3 a game. I was just crunching some numbers and really thinking about the value as I've been in the National Bowling Stadium for 16 hours a day. And I'm not complaining. It's a privilege to be able to be here and bring the coverage.
Been there, Michael. If you need some exercise, by the way, the escalator that isn't turned on going up from the 4th to the 5th floor. Excellent exercise, especially if you're getting a little bit sleepy. Up and down there a couple times. Totally good. Sorry to interrupt there, but just some insider information there.
Yeah, no, I've done that. Matt. It gets your hamstrings going too, and your calves going up and down the escalators that are never on. I've never seen them on.
You guys are talking from the 4th to the 5th floor? Those?
Yep.
It's a rare sight.
And I mean, in general, there's little up there for the general public. So use just offices and, you know, our behind the scenes stuff, storage and such. So to discourage any visitors necessarily, there you go. So
yeah, while we're off on this tangent, you guys.
Today's tangent day at the U.S. Open.
Yeah, speaking of upstairs, it's a nickel a game now at Bowl TV. It'll be changing next week. As I'm completely kidding everybody. But you know that theater up there. Have you been in the theater? Either one of you guys?
I have not.
I have been there. We've had some meetings in the theater, and we actually got a tour one time of the projection area and all that cool stuff that's up there. And I have never seen it in action in all of my years and many, many hundreds of thousands of days at the NBS, going back to being a competitor in 2001.
Like, what did they use it for? Like, what was the design and intent of having a theater up there?
It's not IMAX. It's something else that came out around the same time as an alternative that was supposed to be the next big thing. And it's for educational purposes. So they've had field trips and such and educational type movies and showings. And so at some point in time, the original intention was that it would be open to the public and available, for additional entertainment along with the bowling. And it never really took off. So then it was relegated to just the education and the school part. And then, again, in all of my time there for the Open Championships, I have not seen it in action, no field trips or anything going on. So I believe at this point now the technology is very far outdated.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you a couple things. I was, I did the vlog last week where I kind of updated people on the changes here. National Bowling Stadium. If you haven't seen it, it's over on the USBC YouTube channel. Subscribe to the channel as well so you don't miss anything, by the way. But I was up there and the theater door was open. And it's usually locked. Like, they never leave that thing open. So I'm like, I got to go in here. I took about 3 steps in there with my cell phone flashlight, and I got scared. Like, it freaked me out. Like, it's like those abandoned places, it feels abandoned in there. And I got spooked. And I walked right out of there. I couldn't do it. But I always thought, there's a guy bowling in this field who's pretty good at video games, and his name is Thomas Jones. And I always thought it would be awesome to create like a Madden tournament amongst the gamers in the bowling tournament, and we play in that theater.
That would be something else. But you'd have to get through the first couple steps and not run out.
I know.
That would be the key.
I couldn't find the light switch. But I'm going to tell you something. Going to the movies by yourself, and when you go to a showing and nobody else is in there, it's a scary situation. I saw Rambo Last Blood by myself, like last year. Highly recommended if you're a Sylvester Stallone fan, by the way. And it was a little scary in there, hanging out with John Rambo by myself. But Zeke Bates going to come in and join us now because we got off on a ridiculous tangent that has nothing to do with bowling. So let's bring in our man Zeke Easy. Zeke Bates joins us now here on the program. Hello, Zeke.
Hello, how's it going?
Going well,
sir.
Yeah, I'm doing okay too. Just got done practicing for this session at least. Obviously, I'll be coming back 3 more times, but not too bad.
So you're done with this one. You're just you've had enough?
Well, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. This pattern, 36 feet, dead flat. Not going to be creating too much angle through the fronts, so you're going to be looking at in front of you angles, but resin isn't really consistent front to back, so urethane's probably the answer. I have 2 urethane balls to my name, so they go on the ball card, and I'm done with this session. Pretty much how it works, for me at least. So I saw all I needed to see.
I like it. Hey, Zeke, obviously this is the U.S. Open, but we got to congratulate you on just a hell of a run at the Masters, buddy. Nice ball.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. That was a cool week. I can't be disappointed at all in the performance just because I didn't have that great of a look on the fresh, but I made what I could work and lost to some awesome bowlers and beat some awesome bowlers too. So, yeah, fun week. Thank you.
Hey, Zeke, I know you've made some changes to your game in the past couple of weeks. I believe dropped weight in bowling balls.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that process to get ready for the events here in Reno this week.
Well, I was doing bowling's my career, and I wasn't making any money at it, so I had to switch that. And the only thing that I hadn't tried yet was to drop weight from 16 to 15. Just wasn't really was unhappy with my results scoring-wise, with how good I felt I was physically throwing it. So made that change out of desperation and won the first tournament I bowled back in Sandusky, Ohio. Shout out to my friend Max Tamburino for running that one, and then came out here and bowled good. So yeah, if you want to know like why it worked, I guess, or why it's working so far, my 1-3-5-9 pin deflection's much better. I felt like when 16 my ball was not deflecting enough. It was driving too far to the left of the 9-pin, giving me really improper pin carry and a lot of splits. So changed that and noticed a difference immediately. Even though 16 felt physically better to throw than 15 does for me, 16 just a lot of improper pin deflection for how high my rev rate is and how strong my roll is. So hopefully that wasn't too long-winded, but yeah.
Not at all. It was a great explanation, and we appreciate that deep dive into it as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the other thing about that too is these bowling ball manufacturers, most of them design their bowling balls intended for a 15-pound ball. And when you throw a 16, you get the numbers are a little bit different. So have you had to like go back and try some pieces that maybe you drilled in 16 and it just rolled okay, but maybe your friends told you, hey, no, you need to drill another one of those because the 15 pounder with the numbers it's got in it gives you exactly what you're looking for? Any instances like that?
There will be, I guarantee it. Just not as many right now, just because I'm so fresh with the new arsenal that I haven't had a lot of time to end up replacing what I did have, just financial reasons. I'm a free agent still, so still got to pay for some of the bowling balls, and just haven't had the time to replace them yet, but will. I have noticed a number. Cecil Scarborough and I talked about that a lot too, and making the changes. The number differences are definitely big, and I'm definitely going to get different reactions. Like the Forge Fire, I noticed that's one of the ones I ended up being able to replace, and the Forge Fire in 15 rolls way better for me than it did in 16. Other than that, I don't have any replacements quite yet, but well, I guess I have an IQ Tour. And IQ Tour is just great regardless, so I don't know. But yeah, great question though. Yeah, absolutely.
Zeke, speaking of that Forge Fire, I know our buddy Fidel posted a video of you throwing that during the Masters, and everybody and the brother thought it was a Helix.
Literally 103 people thought it was a Helix. It was nuts.
It was crazy, but yeah. So I was just going to ask if anyone else has asked you about that since that video popped up.
No, but I definitely want 103 more people to ask me if that was a Helix for sure.
Hey, Zeke, was that a Helix? Was that a Helix you were using?
No, that was a Forge Fire, sir.
Oh, okay. I was just curious.
Helix, yes, sir. It, by the way, it was not a Helix. Just letting you know. Yeah. I wish I had a Helix. That'd be sweet. I've never thrown one.
Yeah, Zeke. A lot of people probably don't know about your other talents that you have that I happen to know about. Are you still doing the performing and the arts?
Yeah, the dancing, absolutely. I dance all the time for fitness and just for my creative reasons. I just don't put much out there because I don't really have good recording devices, and I hate just like filming everything from the same location over and over and over again. So I did a lot of videos in my garage earlier. I don't want to do any videos in my garage anymore, but I don't have the setup to really do it anywhere else. So a lot of ideas with dancing videos, but none that I can actually do. So I just do it creatively in my garage and then by myself. And then when I perform live, I'll perform live somewhere in front of people. But obviously, post-pandemic, the live dancing hasn't happened. So
yeah,
Mike, did you notice that Aaron Smith disappeared there for a minute? It's because
I thought there was a technical issue. That's what there's
a pending dance-off between Aaron and Zeke Bate. This has been in the works since 2014
years
at least. But what better platform or better technology? Zeke, you mentioned not having the stuff to do it, but Bowl TV. We have some of the best gear in the business, so this needs to happen, right? Subscribers will get their money's worth for sure, but this definitely needs to happen.
I'm always down. Mr. Smith, on the other hand, might not be so hot on the idea, but we will we'll see, I guess, in time.
You guys could do like a dirty dancing scene where you could lift Aaron Smith up, do the lift.
I enjoy it.
We can try. I don't know how successful that would be, but we would give it a go. I could get you up off the ground. The rest might be up to you, Mr. Smith, and who knows what happens then.
I like this going in a collaborative effort more than a dance off. So I like this, Michael. That was a good idea. We can brainstorm on this.
Yeah, I'll get my push-ups in. Make sure I can hold you up there pretty good, and it'll be all right.
There we go.
Well, the reason why I was actually going somewhere with this, believe it or not, is we've seen this emergence of this platform called TikTok.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of people reaching millions of people with these dance videos on TikTok. I mean, it's a dancing platform. There's other stuff you can do with it creatively as well. But man, I thought about you about 6 months ago, thinking, man, if Zeke had a TikTok, he could be the most followed person in bowling through his dancing on TikTok.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know how it works. So you'd have to help me with that. But
You've never looked at TikTok?
I looked at it after Andrew Anderson told me something similar a few months ago. He was like, you should definitely get on TikTok. And I was like, I don't know what that is. And then that was kind of the end of it. And then, well, I know what it is, but like I don't know how to use it or how to effectively market myself on it. So essentially, I don't know what it is. But yeah, I'm down to learn. I'm down to try. I heard it used to be a Chinese tracking device or something like that. I don't know if that's true anymore, but we'll see.
That's an urban legend. Just like only lefties bowl well in the stadium.
True.
Yeah, no, Zeke, that's cool. Like, and to our audience, it's like, what am I listening to? This is the U.S. Open practice, but Zeke and I haven't had this conversation in person, so we're having it live on the air right now.
Yeah.
And obviously this has become more people know about all this stuff because evidently you and Aaron Smith, were talking smack one night late after a tournament, and you guys are going to have this dance off, right here on Bowl TV later this week.
I
it was
believe
friendly banter. Egged on by Matt.
It originated at the stadium too, so that was
it definitely did.
Right behind where the old grandstands were at. While you guys were shooting a record score, and Matt had no idea what was happening.
Yeah, and Mike, you mentioned left-handers blowing well at the stadium. Zeke Bate has been a superstar at the NBS, has an Open Championship singles title. Followed that up with the highest team game in the history of the Open Championships.
Yeah,
and of course, spent some time on Bowl TV in front of the cameras, and that's how this whole dancing thing got going. I mean, he's proven that he's got the moves on and off the lanes, and so does Aaron Smith. Don't be fooled by his quiet demeanor. He's been showing his personality this week on Bowl TV. It's been mentioned to me. Aaron has got the energy coming this week, and he's got the dance moves too. At times, so it's gonna happen.
It's very selective.
I can't wait. I cannot wait for the debut of Aaron's dance moves. It's going to be amazing. I just am so excited. I feel it everywhere. I can't wait.
Folks, there's no bowling right now, so we're actually filling time here. So I don't want you to believe that we're doing this instead of showing you bowling. That's not what we're doing here.
That's not what we're doing.
This is called a time filler, but it looks like practice is starting back up. I don't know if we can go to 45 and 6, Aaron Smith. I'm totally putting you on the spot right now.
You want to go to 45 and 6?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
If you want it, we'll make it happen. I'll make it happen for you, Michael.
I want it too.
And for Zeke. More so for Zeke than for Mike here. So
yeah, Mike.
Zeke, I've always been a fan of yours. Ever since bowling IB Opens or whatever it is. But I think one of the things about you that I admire the most, and Matt just touched on it, is your ability to bowl well in team environments. And a trend is your friend, so to speak. And it seems like whenever you're on a team, a lot of success comes, which means that you are someone who makes everyone else around you better.
I hope. I can't claim that myself, as there's no substantial data to prove that, but I appreciate that a lot. That's a high compliment, because I do not pride myself, but I do work a lot, really hard on my mental game and just body language in general. I think body language speaks a lot, and a lot of bowlers don't pay enough attention to their own body language and how that might translate in team environments on every level. I think people don't understand sometimes what your teammates see body-wise affects subconsciously what they feel about your performance and subsequently theirs and the team's. So to me, I just focus on stuff like that, where if I throw a bad shot, in my head already, I'm like, well, the next one's going to be perfect. So, about this frame, just get count and move on. Whereas some maybe throw a bad shot in a big spot and then get really down, and then that affects 5 other frames and 5 other people. Or 4 other people. So, but thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Yeah.
3 things come to mind. PBA League, doubles with Dick Allen.
Yep.
And then your history of great performances at the OCs, which is team first is always the thought going into the OCs. You build your team, you break them down the right way, and then you go bowl your doubles and singles. So, it's just, some guys are just really good team players. So the old world team challenges and now the team challenges that are coming up here that the United States Bowling Congress have put together, I would think you'd be a pretty hot commodity to potentially bowl in those sorts of events.
I would love to think that. That would be a really nice thing to have happen as far as that. But yeah, I wish with all my heart that I could bowl some of the old world team challenges that I watch on YouTube all the time and the shows. And I mean, I bowled with a world team challenge superstar myself for a while, and Ted Hannes. And he was, he's obviously a big time influencer in Ohio and just what he's done in bowling overall in his life. So I watched a lot of shows with him and Rudy Revs Kazamakis and all the guys that would make those world team shows entertaining. And I don't know, you saw young Tommy Jones, you saw young Patrick Allen, you saw all these superstars that had yet to come back in their I don't want to say adolescence, but they're before they were superstars. So it was just really, really cool. I wish they still had that, but they don't. And I do feel lucky to have been chosen for the PBA League. I hope to continue to be chosen for the PBA League. And yeah, if you have a team tournament, you want me to be a part of your team, hit me up. I have numbers and Facebook account, a single one. I guess I have one phone number and one Facebook account. So no pluralization there. Sorry about that. But yeah, hit me up.
No TikTok, but you got everything else.
Yeah. And we're working on the TikTok.
Mike, you can help him manage that, right? Inside Bowling, TikTok.
Oh yeah.
Great.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I got it.
We got it. I'm gonna learn more about it because this is not the first time someone's told me that. So I feel like that's a call sign from the world to invest more of my time into what that may be. So yeah.
Wait, you could probably buy a ton of bowling balls, urethane and everything included with if you become a TikTok influencer and start making millions.
Yeah. That's the first thing I would buy is more bowling balls.
All right, Zeke. We appreciate the time here. We'll let you rest up for that next practice session coming up in just a little bit. But as always, it's great to talk to you. Great to just see you out there on the lanes competing. Excellent performance at the Masters, and hopefully more to come at the U.S. Open for you, bud.
Yes, thank you guys so much for having me on. Always a pleasure to talk to you guys. So thank you very much. Have a blessed rest of your day, everyone watching, everyone, period. Adios.
Thanks, Zeke. All right, guys. Zeke Bate joining for a lively conversation there. Zeke's the man. If you didn't know that before, you surely do know it now.
It's easy to judge people from what you see on the lanes, right? This is their job. I would ask you to have someone think of you at your job and what type of impression they would get of you, and then what it's like hanging out with you at a barbecue or on a vacation. Probably a little bit different. And one of the things that Aaron and Matt and I get to do is we do get to know these players off the lanes and the other things that interest them. And there's a lot of really good people that are professional bowlers or compete at the highest level. There's just a lot of really good people. You mentioned the other day there was a gentleman bowling that had donuts all over his shirt. I have no idea who that guy is, but you told me that at the Open Championships he brought in donuts for the staff. And that's just the kind of stuff that is the reason why I work in bowling. I can't speak for you two gentlemen. I know you'll get to that in a minute, but I just love all the different personalities and all the different talents out there in the bowling industry and world. And to those of you that didn't know Zeke Bate very well, I hope you found out what a terrific young man he is and how humble he is. And he's one of the good ones out here.
Hey, you know who else is one of the good ones and pretty awesome guy is right there on our featured pair, Perry Crowl the fourth. Uncle Perry, as we call him in the Team USA world. Got to spend some time with him at an event down in Peru. Just an awesome individual, and we saw him make an amazing run last year to the TV show at the U.S. Open. That's where I was going with that, by the way. And we got to know him a little bit better as he went on to make the step ladder just to take advantage of the chance to bowl in this event as a member of Team USA back in 2019. And just to hear some of his interviews and see his performance was pretty awesome. I think Aaron would agree. You get to be there and get a front row seat to that. Pretty special stuff.
It was awesome watching Perry make that run last year at Sun Valley Lanes. And Matt, as you said, Perry's just a phenomenal human being. Take away all the bowling aspect of it. He's just a phenomenal person to be around, to chat with. And with Sun Valley Lanes being pretty close to Midland University, where Perry went to college and had a very successful collegiate career, was a runner-up at the ISC in 2014. To see that local support for him, it made it such a amazing atmosphere during the course of that event, especially as he was working his way during the round-robin match play portion of it, getting into that position round, making his run toward the show. He ended up winning a match on the show, too, to finish in 4th place overall, but just a phenomenal individual. And Mike, you said it so very well. We really do get a unique opportunity to get to know these guys on and off the lanes, and it's honestly for Matt and I, we're kind of bummed to not be there because we don't get to see these guys in person. It's been so long since we've gotten to see them, so getting to talk to them like this is the next best thing.
Taking a look at Tommy Jones here. He was the odd man out at the Masters, finished 65th. 2 pins out, 7-10 on his last shot.
And
I'm sorry. It's a little early for this, but we did such a fine job of predictions on the Masters, and Jason Thomas is due to lose at least once this 2-week period. Maybe we tease and we hype that during the third stream today is when we're gonna deliver our predictions and our picks for the week.
Pattern number 3. Pattern number 3.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in for that. But to bridge the gap, let's get ready for our giveaway here, folks. So if you're watching on the Sport of Bowling USBC Facebook page, if you're watching on the Bowl TV YouTube channel, head over to bowltv.com, create a login, and you can come and enjoy not only the commentary, the chat, but an opportunity to win an Amazon Fire Stick. You can only win on bowltv.com. We'll start it up in a couple of minutes. So if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, you have time. Go create a login. And then, of course, after we give it away, potentially you may win one winner. You can go ahead, subscribe to Bowl TV to watch the U.S. Open all week. We have a special promo just for the week, this week only, one time only, maybe. $49.95 for an annual subscription. 1 year Bowl TV, $49.95. The entire PWBA tour, the rest of the U.S. Open, Junior Gold, Collegiate, Youth, Senior events, Team USA trials, all there. Unlock the entire website, $49.95. This week only.
We've got people watching from all over the world. I'm actually going through the Facebook and the YouTube chat room right now. We want to thank you all for watching this U.S. Open pattern number 1 practice session. We've got 4 practice sessions for you today, which kind of sounds silly in one regard, but at the same time, it just goes to show how complex this event is and how prestigious it is, as you have to not only try to figure out one oil pattern, you have to figure out 4 if you were to make the cut. And we'll be back bringing you this coverage all day long. We'll be back at noon Pacific for pattern number 2, and then back again at 3 o'clock Pacific for pattern number 3, and then again at 6 o'clock for pattern number 4. Here from Reno, Nevada, the wonderful National Bowling Stadium. And it's actually Nevada. Nevada is the proper way to say it, but because I'm from the Midwest, once in a while I slip out of Nevada.
Yeah, that's a big no-no in these parts. It's amazing how fast someone will jump on you if you mispronounce the name of the state here.
And there he is. We talk about predictions as the year
Well,
starts up.
I heard it, and I was like, I'm coming in. I hear predictions, and I'm like, I'm ready. But I think we got just for fairness reasons, we have to get a look at pattern 4 before we make those predictions. Because you know what I'm saying?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But one thing you guys should have learned last week is if there's a person whose nickname is the bowling guy, you probably shouldn't bet them on bowling stuff.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Just a good rule. Like if there was a guy named the boxing guy, you probably wouldn't want to box that guy.
Hey, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but today they had an issue here in the stadium. They had to widen the walls when you walk in because JT's head wouldn't fit in the building.
That's why they did the renovations.
He couldn't get to the low end otherwise? Is that what you're saying? The grandstand seating would have blocked it?
That's right.
Good stuff, folks.
And what I love about this is actually JT's like the most humblest guy that seeks no attention, but for whatever reason, he's this cocky know-it-all that we have to deal with as this personality on the air here, and I cannot wait to bury him with my picks this week.
One of my favorite movies is Jurassic Park, and one of my favorite lines from that movie is when the T-Rex is attacking one of the Jeeps and Jeff Goldblum is watching from the other Jeep. He says, "God, I'm tired of being right."
Oh, that's great. When we do that during the 4th one now, because JT is right, we got to look at that 4th pattern. We want all Bowl TV subscribers to come in, and we want to hear all your predictions too in the chat. We'll call some out and mention some of your picks on the air, and we want to have a big party here tonight going over these picks.
I already have my strategy figured out, by the way. When we bring people on, I'm just going to ask them if they're going to win. And then if they say yes, I'll put them into to be considered. And if they say no, that I won't. So I'm just going to ask them point blank.
You're going to put them in the recycle bin and empty the trash?
I need that confidence. I need to know.
I'll tell you, I really liked Nathan Bohr's strategy. He was talking about how he's just going to kind of watch all day and then bowl pattern 4, because really, you do not have a chance to win this tournament if you can't hit pattern 4. And these players are so good. They can have practice sessions in their head just by watching, what other players are doing. So I really like the strategy there from Nathan. And I think one of the things we may not have considered as much as it's turned out to be a factor. And I even mentioned it when I had my open conversation with Jason Belmonte and Francois Lavoie as well. I said, are you guys glad that the Masters is first? Assuming that the Masters is normally like this easy cakewalk of a tournament in relation to the U.S. Open. And then the Masters ended up being the U.S. Open. And so now they've had a U.S. Open before the U.S. Open. And what are the mental states of the players going to be? You know, there's a lot of tired players here this morning, and that's going to be a factor in this tournament. You know, is somebody who made a deep run in the elimination bracket going to have, you know, the mental stamina to be able to do well this week? So it's going to be something interesting to watch. Or, you know, are the players who do well this week going to be the ones who maybe didn't make the cut or were eliminated early out of the Masters?
All right, folks. It's time. We are watching practice from pattern number 1 here at the U.S. Open, and we're going to start our first giveaway. So once Anthony Lavery Spar throws his strike, we'll go ahead and start it up. That was not a strike, but we'll still start it up anyway. It's the 3-6 giveaway today. But only one Amazon TV Fire Stick going to be given out to one lucky Bowl TV subscriber. All you have to do, you'll see a countdown in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Once again, this is only on bowltv.com. If you're in full screen, you'll want to take it out of that. It'll count down for 60 seconds. After that, another prompt will come up, say the giveaway has begun. You'll see a blue submit entry button, submit entry. All you have to do is click that. You do not have to answer any additional questions. You don't have to get a trivia question right. You don't have to provide anything. You just have to click the button. Boom, done, entered. Then our system will tell us who won, and then our marketing team will reach out to you, and you'll have the Amazon TV Fire Stick in no time. So good luck, everybody, watching here on Bowl TV. Remember, all you have to hit the submit entry button, and you are good to go. BowlTV.com only.
As you can see, the session ended. Please no more deliveries. You'll head to your final pair of lanes for this morning's practice on pattern 1. As you can see, the session ended. Please no more deliveries.
Congratulations to Sharon Custard winning the Amazon TV Fire Stick. Sharon, our marketing team will be reaching out to you shortly to get you that giveaway. Big thanks to everyone for participating on BowlTV.com. And remember, if you missed out, if you're still watching on Facebook or YouTube, we'll have a couple more of these throughout the course of the day to watch. All you have to do is create a login for today. But if you want to get on a great deal, fantastic deal, amazing deal, a Mike Flanagan-esque deal as he enters the screen to talk to Tommy Jones. Head over to bowltv.com right now. Click on Join Bowl TV to find the subscription options. We have an event ticket. If you just want to watch the USO for $8.95, a monthly for $9.95, but the special, the promo, the big deal, $49.95 for 1 year of Bowl TV, available this week only.
Did you guys see me down there?
Oh, I called you out. Yes, 100%,
right.
Mike.
Guys, I got DJ Archer wanted to come up and talk to the folks and talk a little bit about the soil pattern. So, welcome to the booth, DJ Archer.
Hey, Mike, you're gonna have to turn his he's muted right now.
Oh yeah, JT. I'm blaming JT.
There we go.
Oh,
Is that
look at that. Yeah, he just did it himself. This is great. You want a job?
Sure. Hi, Matt. Hi, Aaron. How are you guys doing today?
Good. DJ, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right. Initial impressions, pattern 1 here, 36 feet. Tell us how much fun you had out there.
Actually, I had quite a bit of fun. I wasn't expecting what I was going to see today. I think day 1, this is my opinion, I think the score is going to be a little bit higher. It seems like it's going to be a lot of urethane going down the lane, kind of, what I expected on 36 feet. And I felt like there was, a little bit of hook to the right. So that made the lanes a little bit easier, in my opinion. So I definitely look for the scores to be a lot higher on day 1 than compared to the other days.
DJ, you had a nice look at the Masters. I mean, that 289 right here in front of us, I believe it was day 2 of qualifying. And then, you bowled good, in the match play portion, but how difficult that is. In this event, you get to keep all the pins all the way through. There's no bracket, there's no head-to-head matches. What's the difference between this event and the one you just came out of for you?
Kind of like you said, Mike, you get to keep the scores in the U.S. Open. Unlike the Masters, you're just bowling against your opponent. And, the second round, I bowled against Sam Cooley. I needed a double in the 10th, got the first one, and then flat 10. So then I automatically went to the loser's bracket. And then I bowled Kyle Troop the next round, and he just bowled better than I did. So, all the good bowling I felt like I did in qualifying was kind of put out the window. So, it's just kind of one of those things where you just regroup. And, the scores, you get to keep your scores with you. You get to take them with you. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, with this pattern here, I feel pretty comfortable right now. So hopefully be able to get off to another good start and then, continue the run to the next couple of days.
Yeah, and you told me that your bowling ball rolls good in this building. You feel confident in this building. What does that mean?
It's just kind of one of those things where, the facility, the atmosphere, it really fits my eye. And, whenever just like, all you guys are bowlers too. So when you go into a bowling center that you feel confident and you feel like, that you're going to do well, and Reno is one of those places. So, just looking forward to it and, see what happens and, kind of go from there.
What type of bowling balls will you be throwing? You mentioned urethane. Will there be any resin shapes for you? And if so, what type of balls? Symmetrical, asymmetrical, surface, things like that?
Yeah, for the most part, for me, it's going to be a lot of, probably a lot of urethane just because, it lets me keep it in front of me. And then after that, once the oil carries down, it just kind of depends on who you follow. If you're following a bunch of urethane, then I'll probably go to some bigger balls, symmetric for me, more of a solid ball like a phase 2, and just something with the stronger cover with probably a little bit of surface on it, just to get the ball to pick up a little bit sooner. I'm kind of looking forward to this next 20 minutes of practice. I'm actually going to throw a reactive ball this time. For the first couple of practices today, I haven't used a reactive ball yet because the urethanes are pretty good. So I'm going to take a look at some some reactive right now and see how it looks. But with the crosses, like the first game is fresh, the second game is fresh, the third game is only going to be like 1 game on it, and the fourth game like 1 game, and then they're going to start to transition. You're going to bowl on a pair with 2 games and then 3 games the last couple of games. So you probably won't see a lot of transition until after maybe 3 or 4 games. So I'm just going to try to do the right thing with the urethane ball for the first couple of games and try to get some score, and then kind of go from there.
I know you probably want to get back out to the lanes, but I got one other question for you. You're coming off an injury, aren't you? Could you tell the folks a little bit about the struggles that you had to go through and the road to recovery here? And I would imagine last week was a huge building foundation block for you going forward.
Yeah, I had a tear on the side of my meniscus, so it wasn't a big major thing, but it kind of set me back a little bit. Before the PBA players there in Florida, I'd only been bowling for about 3 weeks. So I tried to put in as much practice as I could because I was pretty much off bowling for, I don't know, maybe like probably about full 3 months. So the preparation wasn't that great. But yeah, I mean, it's still sore, but we'll see what happens. I mean, it's not affecting my bowling. I'm pretty much back to about 95, and almost to full health. But, whenever you miss some time like that, bowling against these, the best bowlers in the world, it kind of sets you back a little bit. So we've been putting in a lot of work here lately, and, obviously it's shown at the Masters. I didn't bowl really good. I bowled okay at the Tournament of Champions, and then the other term, the Players, wasn't that great. But, it's just going to take some time. And, I kind of told myself that, don't get too far down on yourself. And, so far, last week the Masters was a building block, and, we'll see what happens this week at the U.S. Open.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for joining us. I completely dominated this interview, so I got to apologize to my Bowl TV partners here. But go out there and see what the resin ball does, and if you get a look, come back and tell us what happened.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Thanks, you.
CJ.
Thanks, TJ.
All
There
right.
you go, Mike, stealing all the thunder and the questions. And sorry, you asked the question I was going to ask anyway, so we're good.
What's interesting about him even coming up here is I saw somebody in the chat ask it would be great to talk to Tommy Jones. So I like to read the chat, and if people want something, I try to deliver it. Not every time, so don't put in every request now, everybody. I can't go get everybody. But so I just walked down, and Tommy looked like he really wasn't doing anything, in between the games there, or the practice blocks. And I said, hey, man, you wanna come to the booth? He's like, when? I said, whatever you want, He's like, well, I'm done practicing. I got to talk to Chuck, and then, I'll come up. Then DJ looks at me and goes, Mike, you guys have been doing amazing coverage this week. If you ever need me, you just let me know. And he goes, I'm better friends with you than these guys anyway. We go way back. And I'm like, well, come on up. Come on up. And he's like, I feel comfortable talking to you. Let's go. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's go. That's how we got the interview. I bowled with DJ when I was 15 years old in a junior regional tournament in Louisiana. Never met the man before. I went down there with a couple of my homies from St. Louis, my crew, and when we get down there, DJ, he was throwing like a Rage. There was like a black Rage, I think, back then, Columbia 300 ball, and he hooked it a lot back then, and he slow hooked it, and I was just amazed with the way the guy threw the ball. And my mediocre rev rate playing somewhere around 9, and he's playing like 20. I was super jealous of this guy, and then I got to know him, and there were some other folks down there, Paul Matitall, Kim Kloss, another name, who went on to be an All-American at Nebraska and is now a veterinarian and just a wonderful human being. She's one of those two that if the ladies tour would have been around, she would have probably gone out there and won a few titles. And she's kind of one of the unfortunate stories that never really came to fruition with having that ladies tour missing. And there's hundreds of examples of that. And I just feel so awful for those people, for that era. And that's another reason why relaunching the PWBA tour 6 years ago, I believe it was now, is such a big deal for bowling, because it gives people the opportunity, young ladies the opportunity, like a Jillian Martin who's participating this week that we talk about all the time, that great opportunity. But DJ was just a nice guy back even when I was 14 years old, and we've always kind of kept in touch thanks to platforms like America Online back in the day.
Oh, let's go.
All the way up through MySpace to what we have today. And every time I go to an event, DJ makes me smile. We have a little chat, and we pick up we've been friends forever, and we know everything that's going on in each other's lives. So another great example, like we talked about with Zeke Bate, just another wonderful human being that happens to bowl for a living, or attempt to bowl for a living, and do other things as side hustles to make extra income.
Bringing back memories of AIM there, Mike.
Yeah, it wasn't even AIM before. It was just Messenger or something. I don't even remember what it was, but I always said that if America Online, becomes nothing one day, and AOL.com becomes available as a domain, I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to create the AOL Hall of Fame and let everybody that loved that platform have a spot in the AOL Hall of Fame. While Daft Punk's One More Time will be playing in the background when you log into the website.
It sounds euphoric.
Oh, it is. And you did a nice thing here. You've got, DJ Archer right up on the screen, to see how that resin ball would work, which is why you're such an amazing producer, Aaron.
You get lucky every once in a while, Mike. Get lucky.
I'm watching Stu Williams over here. He's recording Chris Barnes bowling.
Both of those guys had a nice performance at the Masters, winning a couple matches before being eliminated.
Old Beef and Barnesy. Barnes is doing something a little different here this week, unless I just haven't been around in a while and he's been doing it and I just didn't notice. But he's got a couple of jerseys with numbers on them. He's got a Patrick Mahomes jersey and he's got a Mookie Betts jersey on today.
Mike, if you had a custom jersey for a sports team with a number on it, what team and what number?
I'm here. I'm not listening. I'm thinking. Oh boy, that's really a tough one. I guess I gotta go 16. Brett Hall, St. Louis Blues.
I like it. It's got your team. Brett Hull, a phenomenal player. Class color combo.
How about you guys?
I started to instantly think about it after I asked the question because I realized I had no idea what direction I would go. Unfortunately, I'm a Chicago Bears fan, so anything recent outside of my main man, Mitchell Trubisky, who is now part of the Buffalo Bills, and I have to ask Brian O'Keefe if I'm allowed to jump on the bandwagon for a backup quarterback. But
Aaron Smith wouldn't be a number 9 with a matching headband for you.
it would be great. A Jim McMahon Bears situation would be phenomenal. I just feel, even though I was about 4 months old when it happened, I still can't relate to that time period and those teams because I didn't get to go through it, even though I was technically around for it. So I'm looking more recent, and
we could get matching ones, just different orange and blue.
Go with some Rex Grossman number 8s.
There you
Let's
go.
Let's go.
Aaron, would you mind switching over to 43 and 44, please?
43 and 44.
Oh, no, we don't have a camera on that, do we?
That is the one we have not had access to this week. That is correct.
Oh, I just stepped in a landmine. My bad. I'll get him later. Barnes has got that jersey on. That's why I thought that'd be a good idea. And I don't know what's going on in this pair in front of us. It's like a college tournament right now. We've got everybody standing up. They're giving high fives. All right, good pitch out there. Good pitch. I don't know what's going on here.
Let's see. Pair of players representing SCAD, Savannah, Benji Martinez and Tyrell Ingalls. Briley Howe, Wichita State. Michael Martell. Robert Morris, Illinois. Alec Keplinger at Wichita State as well. Yes, DJ is the odd one out here as far as
He sure is.
hanging out with the youth movement right here.
I've talked about this before, and I give this guy a hard time, but Michael Martell is the most deliberate bowler I may have ever seen in my life. He's a great player. I mean, I picked him on that dumb PBA league mock draft as my last pick and got totally blasted on the internet. But I love the kid, but he just takes forever to bowl. And I did notice that he seems to be picking up the pace a little bit more now. But that kid can play.
Michael, part of Team USA in 2020 and 2021. From his awesome performance at the Team USA trials in 2020.
Practice session is just now starting to wrap up, guys. I don't know if Tommy Jones is going to just conveniently forget about coming up here and visiting, or.
Well, the good news is if we miss him at this one, we have 3 more potential opportunities throughout the course of the day.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that everybody's invited to every practice session here. This isn't like, okay, well, A squad's out there, B squad's out there. Thank you, Kyle. You want to hop in the booth? Yeah. Okay. Right there. Yep. Hop on in. I found a hack. I found a donator to the tournament this week to join us on the broadcast. If you want to push that laptop screen down just a little bit so you can frame yourself a little bit better. There's a lot of people on YouTube and stuff like that got to frame themselves properly, just so you know. I know you probably haven't ever been on that platform before, but we're gonna bring in one of the donators this week. Guy that just doesn't know how to play the lanes properly. Let's bring in someone I have a relationship with, Kyle Sherman. Kyle, how's it going, buddy?
Man, I feel like that's some bad omens coming my way. It's going good, man. It's awesome. A whole day of practicing, an entire day. It's awesome.
Yeah, the whole day. That's all you're doing is just practicing.
It really was. It's 16 practice sessions, 16 20-minute sessions. I take the last one off because I'm trying to be smart. 4 years ago, I would have thrown every shot possible all day today. It would have been like 30 games. Today, I'm going to try to get like 10 games in total so I can be rested for the week. You know, it's a big week, US Open.
You seem like you have an incredible attitude today. You sound fresh and excited.
2 days off, got a good night's sleep. Didn't throw it terrible today. I'm pretty happy.
And they're probably, you got more patterns to look at there, but they're probably not as bad as last week.
Oh my God. Yeah. The fact that my ball actually made a decent shape today, as opposed to never did last week. I think that's why I'm really in a good mood. I mean, last week was just, I'm not ready. I'm not built for that. But yeah, this week, this pattern didn't seem too bad. A lot of urethane. You could throw some reactive balls and get some shape. I don't think score is going to be too low in this pattern, but you never know. It's US Open.
Kyle, tell us, just what worked out for you on this particular condition over the course of the time you were out there. What bowling balls do you foresee making it on the ball card, knowing this pattern's out there?
Yeah, so definitely urethane. I got a fast pitch, pitch black, so that'll definitely be going down the lane. IQ Tour, old reliable for a lot of storm guys. Some lower end balls. The big balls, like big asymmetrics or strongest balls, didn't look too good for me, and I didn't think they looked good for a lot of people because they hooked too early. So far, I think the ones I can pencil in is like 2 urethanes and an IQ Tour. Those are in the bag now. Now I just got to wait and bowl in the other pattern and see what other 7 I can throw in there.
And that's a big part of the weekend. We haven't talked too much about it yet, but you guys are limited here during the qualifying session of it until you get to Cashers Round match play to make any changes to your equipment. So you really have to take that information you guys learn over the next couple of hours to whittle it down to, I believe 10 is the number.
Yeah.
So how tough is that? You know, you've had a few opportunities to do that. How do you game plan for that?
Yeah, we don't really see that a whole lot. Or actually, we don't see it at all. You know, the guys on tour, we got 30 bowling balls for one pattern that we're trying throughout the entire week. So you kind of got to get. I think you got to get some Urethane's going to be in play this week. And then you got to get some balls that, if you have a couple balls that really look good on a pattern, then I think you pencil those in. But finding those balls that maybe can translate to multiple patterns is kind of what I'm looking for. I definitely want to have those in my bag because 10 seems like a lot until you're bowling on one of these patterns and you look at all 10 of your balls and you're like, none of these are going to work. So, yeah, it's just kind of finding the shapes that I think I'm really looking for, the ones that are going to translate on multiple patterns.
All right, I caught the vlog a little bit earlier this week, and I think you guys said the number of subscribers right now is at was north of 90,000. So first off, congratulations on that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
what are the odds we're getting to 100,000 this week? I want that to happen this week. We're going to push it on Bowl TV, but tell the people about that.
Yeah, we're almost at 100K. We really didn't even realize it until people started saying it because we just kind of get focused on making the videos, and but it's almost here. So we've been telling everyone on our videos to subscribe. We want to get to the 100,000. Gotten a lot of subscribers. We need a pretty big push this week to get to the 100K mark, but that'd be cool if we could happen.
Yeah, all you got to do for that is head over to YouTube and type in Brad and Kyle and click the subscribe button. We're actually a free preview right now, Bowl TV. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and to the Bowl TV subscribers. So got a lot of people watching. Make sure you subscribe to these guys. They put out a lot of great content.
Please, that'd be awesome. Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for helping us out.
Kyle, good luck this week, man. We got Tommy Jones standing by. Thanks for spending a little bit of time, and I'm probably going to pick you in my predictions later on having a good week. So don't let me down.
Nice. Yeah, do my best. Thanks, guys.
You.
All right, that's Kyle.
Sounds like we got Tommy right on deck as well.
Yep, Tommy Jones is now joining us here in the booth. Tommy, I really appreciate you taking a couple minutes here for us. I wanna first of all talk about the Masters before we get into the U.S. Open. I filmed your last couple of shots. I put it in our video. You wrap a 10-pin, you spare it, and you go up and you make a pretty good shot. You 7-10 to miss the cut by 2 pins. I was going to interview you, but I didn't. I chose not to. But I'd like to know now, being able to reflect on that, kind of what happened there and your thoughts on the Masters.
Well, I never should have been in that position anyways. I bowled pretty pathetic to get there. So obviously you can't really be mad about the situation that you put yourself in. Obviously it wasn't the greatest of breaks in the 10th, because if I strike the first shot, then I only need to fill 20 or, fill 10 on the second shot in the 10th to make the cut. But, I did it to myself. I bowled terrible all week. I missed a spare the game before, chopped a spare that game. So I'm a realist about it. When you bowl that bad, you're not supposed to be extended play against these guys.
You also told me that the pattern was going to be really hard, and you got to pick your spares, and you missed some spares, and ends up making you miss the cut. Now, what can you do from that event going into the United States Open, bowling on 4 different patterns to build from it, and what's your overall outlook this week for you and expectations for the U.S. Open?
The U.S. Open is one of my favorite tournaments of the year. I really enjoy bowling on the 4 different patterns, knowing they're all going to be fairly difficult. The hardest part for us is picking the 10 balls that we're going to put into play. You only get to get 10 balls for the first 3 patterns, and you can swap them out. So trying to find balls that work at a certain time, and also balls that, you can we call them swing balls, that we could use on 2 or 3 patterns.
Yeah, and Tommy mentioned the struggles last week and not bowling at your best. How do you put that behind you and shift gears? I mean, back-to-back majors in the same venue. You had a couple days to kind of reset, but being a seasoned veteran, how do you put all of that and the struggles behind you and do the right things this week?
Well, I have a love-hate relationship with this bowling center anyways. I used to always get whatever's in the vending machine, the C4, because I hope it would implode. But I have won twice in this building, so that's why I have kind of a love-hate relationship with it. But on the same note, nobody's ever gave me a remote to rewind time and change what happened last week. There's nothing I can do about it. It's over and done with. All we can do is move forward and try to have a good week this week at the U.S. Open.
Yeah, Tommy, you had a couple of rough years there for a little while, and then you had that really huge year. I think it started with that Bolero Series win. Then the Hall of Fame, of course, was just arguably the greatest moment in the history of the PBA Tour. It's got to feel good to be throwing the rock good and being healthy, right? I mean, you're not dealing with any injuries right now currently, right?
Yeah, no, things have been good. Actually a blessing in disguise was DJ Archer tore his ACL, and we started going to the gym a bunch while we were home. So body feels good, so that's good. But in order to keep up out here, the game got really young. You know, when I was growing up and I was 22, 23 out here on tour in Norman, those guys were in their early 40s, late 30s. They were in their prime. I'm 42, and I'm pretty old out here now compared to these guys.
Yeah, well, we know how good you are and how capable you are of bowling well in this event. We know you gear up for this one. You got a U.S. Open title, and we wish you all the luck this week. And thank you for spending a little bit of time with us here on Bull TV.
Thanks, guys. Hope to chat later this week.
All right, cool. Yeah,
Thanks,
we
sir.
hope
Good
so
luck.
too as well. All right, so there you have it. There's Tommy Jones. We had some great guests here, Mr. Cannizzaro, very much.
Yeah, so much talent out there, and looking forward to, well, like as you said, like 13 more hours of practice sessions and talking to the guys and getting caught up on what's happening and breaking down patterns. So each one is going to be similar but different. So can't wait.
Yeah, and we'll have coverage for you here again coming up at noon Pacific here on Bull TV. So for Aaron Smith, for Jason Thomas, and my man right next to me, actually he's that way. That's Matt Cannizzaro right there. I'm going to sign off for now. We'll see you a little bit later today here on Bull TV. And that's the news for now.